Welcome back. I'm here with Rabbi Deborah Waxman. Deborah, you are the first woman and the first openly gay person to head a Jewish congregational organization. What does that feel like in 2014?
It's an extraordinary honor. For my community, it is, they are embracing and celebratory, and it is a non-issue. It is both about time and also we have work to do, let's get out and do it. In the wider world, it is a first, and that is, I have been celebrated and embraced there as well with a bit of wonder. So for me, it has been again, this incredible honor, and I understand it also as a real responsibility on behalf of the Reconstructionist movement and on behalf of women and openly gay people across the world.
So let's talk about Reconstructionist Judaism for a moment. It's interesting because on the one hand, it is definitely the smallest of the major denominations. I think maybe 1% of American Jews belong to Reconstructionist synagogues. And yet, I've always also looked at this movement as kind of being on the cutting edge. You know, the first bat mitzvah, the first in lots of ways of considering Judaism beyond just the strict religion, but, you know, as Mordechai Kaplan said, as a civilization. So how do you get that message across, and why do you think that your numbers are so small?
You really framed it how we understand it as well, that Reconstructionism has been an approach to Jewish life, a way of being Jewish that certainly puts religion at the center as a source of inspiration and orientation, a source of teachings and texts and ways of behaving, and that includes Jews of all different approaches, all different interests. The influence that we aspire to have, that I think we have had and that we want to have going into the future, is definitely about doing the thought work and incubating new programs and continuing to play that role. It translates into smaller numbers, I think, in the congregations, in part because it's a real activist approach. It's a way of taking on responsibility and for one's own Judaism. And there are some people who want to be doing that work intensively, and there are others who want to learn about, try on the fruits of it. So I think that continuing to do the thought work, continuing to innovate new models and put them out there is really critical for us. And then when it translates into congregations and to communities, it's a constellation of people who are deeply engaged, deeply interested, and that's a thrilling laboratory environment to see how is this working, how do we deepen it, how do we take it further. So it's a very energizing balance between a leadership role and a broad movement role. And I think we're always going to be on the small side.
Certainly this whole question about intermarriage has really been debated a lot lately. So I wanted to ask both on a personal level and in terms of your status as a president. First, personally, your partner converted to Judaism. Is that something that you want to encourage among other people?
It's very interesting. My partner was Jewish when we met, so her path to Judaism was independent of mine. And we joke that early in our relationship, she talked about how much she wanted a vital Jewish life and a Jewish future, a Jewish home, and was
looks like she got one.
That's right. That's right. You know, so for her, she found a home in Judaism before me. My brothers and I all married Jews by choice, and so right up close, I have the observation of different pathways into Judaism. That's my experience in the Reconstructionist movement, that intermarriage is not a death knell or necessarily a problem. It's an opportunity for deep engagement and people joining the Jewish people. And my observation, and we have the data to back it up, it leads to conversion. Not always, not only, and not necessarily, but that this is about certainly enriching and even growing the Jewish people.
Have you performed any intermarriages?
I do officiate under certain circumstances. The conversation I have with couples is, are you comfortable with the Jewishness of this ceremony, and what does it mean for the life that you'll create? Will the home be a Jewish home? Will the children be raised as Jewish children? And are you comfortable with me declaring that under the chuppah? And that has meant that I've performed several, and I have not performed others. What I will say is that the conversations I have with interfaith couples tend to be exciting, values-driven conversations, people who are wrestling, who are thinking, who are making decisions about how to be Jewish, how to be religious on their own.